Welcome to the Redeemer Podcast. I'm your host, Zach, and today we are continuing our series of celebrating and exploring Christian education across Canada. I am so excited to talk about London Christian High in London, Ontario today, and I'm joined by their principal, Gabriella, life skills teacher, Sarah, and VP of Learning, Jacky. Welcome to the podcast. We have a great conversation about everything God is doing at London Christian High, and also we highlight their life skills program, which I find fascinating. If it is your first time here, make sure to like and subscribe, share with a friend, and check out some of our other episodes that explore various aspects of Redeemer, Christian education, and so much more. Thank you for making us part of your day. And with that, here we go. And we're back continuing our series on Christian education across Canada, celebrating what God is doing in Christian education. And we are featuring a fantastic school today, London Christian High. And I am joined by Gabriella, Jacky, and Sarah. I'm going to let them introduce themselves in a moment and their role in the school. But ladies, welcome to the Redeemer Podcast. Gabrielle, we'll
Thank
start
you.
with you.
Thank
Maybe
you.
what's your role and title here?
Yeah, so I'm Gabriella. I'm the principal of London Christian High. I've worked here for 8 years, and it's my third year as principal.
Okay. And Jacky?
Yeah. I'm Jacky, and I have been here for, I think, 15 years. I am currently a vice principal of program, and I'm also the senior guidance counselor at London Christian High.
Okay. And over to Sarah.
Yeah, so I'm Sarah Seitz. I have been here for 7 years. I started as an EA, and for the last 4 years, I have also been the life skills teacher.
Very cool. And I'm Sarah, that's a little bit of a tease because we are going to talk about the life skills program specifically later on in the episode because there's some really cool stuff that you guys are doing with that. But before we get into that, we always like to start off these episodes with, can you give us a little bit of context or story? What is London Christian High? How did you guys get started? Maybe Gabriella, is it best to throw that to you first?
Yeah, sure. So it's an interesting year to be asking that too. So this year we celebrate our 60th birthday. So we're celebrating that in May. Yeah, amazing. So London Christian, yeah, thanks so much. We've been around for 60 years. We were started in 1955. Nope, that's not right. 1965 by a group of Dutch Reformed immigrants who moved to this area and were looking for a Christian high school option. And so since then, we have expanded our building and program multiple times to be what we are today. So it's pretty exciting year to celebrate such a big birthday here at LCH.
Very cool. And for anyone who's watching this or listening to this, if you didn't assume this, London Christian High is in London, Ontario, just to be clear about that. But, cool. Jacky, anything to kind of add to that context?
Yeah, I would say we are unique in that we are a regional school. So we're located in the city of London, but we draw students from all over southwestern Ontario. Students come from Sarnia, Woodstock, Ingersoll, Tillsonburg, Aylmer, Stratford, up north, Goderich, Clinton, Exeter way. Some of our students are on the bus an hour and a half each way. Every single day. So parents make an intentional choice to come to London. Some of these kids pass by a lot of different high school options on their way to get here. And so we are really honored that we are that choice for parents, that they feel it's worthwhile for their kids to travel as far as they travel. It's a really unique experience for our students to be meeting classmates from all over southwestern Ontario. So they're making connections, kids who live 100, 200, 300 kilometers away, which it's just really interesting. It adds a neat flavor. And it's one of the things unique to London Christian High.
That is so unique. Wow. I had no idea that London Christian High had that kind of, I like the words you use. You truly are a regional high school to that. Wow. Blessings on you guys in that. And yeah.
Sarah, sorry, it makes snow days really tricky, right? So
Oh,
like we
I
were
can
talking about
imagine.
before you started recording, we've had so many snow days because we are so regional. It really impacts our program, what the weather does.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh man, I can imagine. Okay, I'm curious. How many snow days are you guys at right now?
I think we're at 8 or 9.
8 or 9.
So
Okay.
it's a
Okay.
lot.
Not
Yeah.
quite 2 weeks of school yet.
No, that's right. Not quite.
Uh,
No.
okay, cool. Yeah. Sarah, anything to add about kind of, thoughts about London Christian High?
Um, I think just to like add to what Jacky was saying, we have students that come from all these different areas, and some of those areas have been it's been like generations now. Like we see
Mhm.
like grandparents and parents, and now like the students that we have here, yeah, their families have been coming here since it opened. But we also have students that are coming from like long distances that are brand new to our school. And so, yeah,
Mm.
it is really unique and interesting to see um, just the student body and where they're coming from.
Very
Mhm.
cool. Oh man. Well, I'm excited to talk about London Christian High with you guys. I'll say this. My next question to you guys. This is one of my favorite questions I ask on these episodes because often the people I'm interviewing are very passionate about this. Is I would love if could you guys describe your school culture? And I'm always amazed that the schools across Canada they're different but they're similar, and it's always interesting to hear people start with it. But Sarah, could we maybe start with you? How would you describe London Christian High's school culture?
So if we think about some of the other high schools in London, they are like student bodies are huge, and
Mhm.
our student body is it's growing, but it's not huge. And so I think students feel that they're not just a number. They're not just sitting in a classroom of 30 and upward kids. Like each student really knows where they belong and who they are in our school.
Mm.
And there's so many different ways outside of the classroom to get involved. There's always clubs and extracurriculars and um, just students are involved in so many different things. And I think the opportunity is more plentiful, I should say, because um, there's just more opportunity because we don't have overflow of students. And yeah, it's really beautiful.
Very cool. Yeah. And Jackie, Gabrielle, anything to add?
Mhm. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I like we are really intentional about school culture here.
Mhm.
Coming out of COVID, we really recognized some opportunity to rebuild some community that was lost during that time. And so I would say that over the past few years, we are really investing into student leadership development. We're really investing in having students understand more about how God has uniquely created them, what their interests and abilities are, how they can use those interests, abilities to serve God and serve others. We're also investing a lot into faith formation and helping every day, helping our students to know who they are in Christ and who specifically they are in God's eyes. Do you know?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I think all of those investments are really paying off to a beautiful school culture. Like our students feel that love and care, and they're rising to it. And so our tagline here at London Christian High is where students are seen, known, and loved. And we do surveys from time to time with our parents to see, like, is that really true? Do your
Mhm.
students really feel that? And what we hear from our parents and from our students is they feel that they feel like this is a place where they are seen, known, and loved. So it's from my perspective, it's a really beautiful place to work every day and also a beautiful place for our students to show up every day.
Wow. Yeah. And Jackie, how would you describe your London Christian High's culture?
Yeah, I don't know that I have a lot to add to what Sarah and Gabriella say.
Yeah.
Small but mighty. Our kids are encouraged to try new things, right? They're encouraged to think outside the box, to pursue their interests if they have them. So I think of some new initiatives from Students' Council last year. The Students' Council decided they wanted to support Relay for Life in our community, and they decided this in May or April, sorry. And Relay for Life is typically held the last weekend in May. And so they just put their shoulders under it, and in the space of 6 weeks, raised over $25,000 for Relay for Life with this really small student, 250 students. And I would say most of the school was engaged and involved, and they were just able to get people on board with the excitement and the vision for doing this, serving community in this way. I guess that just tweaks my mind. Like, serving the community is really important to us here. We build that into our learning. We have lots of community partnerships, and we try to figure out how our students can bless community. And so this Relay for Life was another example of how our students embraced that and did that. And we had community people show up at our Relay for Life event and participate. And so it was just really fun to do that.
Jacky, wow. Okay, first off, you said you didn't have much to add. Are you kidding me? That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Oh, I'm happy to celebrate that with you guys. That's way to go to all your students. And so you're telling me that was student led to raise $25,000?
Yeah.
Whoa. That's awesome. That is small but mighty indeed, I tell you. Okay. Oh man. Well, so something I want to preface this a little bit as we go into kind of our next segment here. First off, your school sounds amazing. London Christian High sounds like a very healthy place for students to do their formative high school years. And from just even being with you guys here for a couple of minutes, I can tell you guys care a lot about your students, and I'm going to guess your students care a lot about each other, and as well. That being said, something as I was doing some research for this video, and someone told me about your life skills program that you guys have been developing, not just developing, but develop. And I'm wondering, could you guys highlight that a little bit? And who would be the best to kind of start to speak to? First off, what is the life skills program at London Christian High?
You want to start?
Yeah, I can maybe get us started. So our life skills program is about 2.5 years old at this point, and it really was born organically out of what we recognized as a need. So we, like I said, we like to bless community in our learning. We want our students to be seen, known, and loved in their learning and in their place here at London Christian High. And we just recognized that there was a gap. We are really good at thinking outside the box to include students and to integrate, to tailor their learning to what they needed. And 2.5 years ago, there was one particular student for whom we recognized we were not doing that well. He was integrated into classes, but it was more of a situation where he was integrating fine and he was happy to be in these classes, but we weren't leading his learning, and we weren't helping him take ownership of his learning and set goals and meet personal goals. And so out of that, we realized we were not serving him well. We were not seeing and loving him. Like, we knew him, but we were not seeing his needs and loving him through meeting those needs. And so we very quickly actually put together a proposal for a program. I think within 6 weeks, we had a proposal and we had a plan on how to serve this one particular student better with life skills programming. And so we pulled Sarah in. She helped to plan this stuff. We connected with this student's parents to say, what are your goals? How can we do this better? We feel like we're not doing it well enough. And so they helped us out. They walked alongside us. And so we flipped mid-school year and implemented life skills in semester 2. And it was part-time. We still believe really in integration as much as possible, because our students, we can accommodate almost anything in our classrooms. And so we want our students to be part of the whole. Our life skills students are part of the whole, recognizing that there are parts of their life where they need tailored programming to their own specific goals. And so that's still what we do. As we plan life skills every semester, it's all really fluid. We look one student at a time. What do they need? What can we integrate? What can we not? And so it makes it really messy for Sarah. I have to like hats off to Sarah who working with students in her classroom who come and go depending on what period it is and what course options fit for a given student. And so it's not cookie cutter, it's not a factory model at all. It is very much one student at a time. What will this program look like? And then lovely Sarah gets to look at the whole thing and go, well, I guess this is how we're going to do it this semester. So
Wow. Okay.
that's
Okay. No, thank you, Jack. I want to dig a little bit deeper here, and I'm going to be pretty intentional of how we ask this next question. So, Sarah, I'm going to have you go first, and can you kind of talk about the practical kind of what does this look like day to day, week to week in this program, and then I'm curious, Gabriella, if from the principal kind of
Mm.
school macro view, if you could give that afterwards. But we'll start with you, Sarah. What exactly does this program look like, kind of day to day?
Yeah, so right now the life skills program runs all afternoon. So we have block 3 and block 4. And I have a different mix of students in each of those blocks. And so we do some math and English, but we also focus on like more tangible skills. And we're actually starting a volunteer um, with the local Christian elementary school. So we're going to be
Oh,
starting
cool.
that hopefully next week or the week after. I did it last year as well. And so day to day, that looks different every single day. And sometimes I have a plan that we're going to get lots of math done. But because these kids have integrated classes all morning, their social battery or their batteries just, they might be already done. And so then I have to be able to flip very quickly and recognize um, their like just their ways of telling me like I can't we can't do that today. And so we flip and we will do something a little bit more maybe like community based. And so we will just have a class discussion about media, or we'll have
Mm,
we focus on one of the fruits of the spirit or like a godly characteristic. And so each month we have one of those that we focus on. We pull examples from the Bible, but also like real life examples that we see around us or in the news, and we talk about those things. And so yeah, I can't really speak to what is our schedule or what is our
yeah.
routine because it's always different, but that's also the beauty of it. Like that is
Yeah.
exactly what we created it for. Um and it's really like I get the opportunity to see these kids as an EA because I'm an EA in the morning in the integrated classes, and then I get to see them in a whole different lens when they come to life skills. And it's beautiful to see them thriving in different ways in each of those places.
So I'm just gonna follow up. So just so for anyone listening or watching, just so that they can kind of grasp, what exactly it kind of looks like. So say a student was part of the life skills program. You're saying in the morning they'll attend, integrated classes like your math, your sciences, geography, things like that. But then when it comes to the afternoon, they would come, and it sounds like it's pretty adaptable or malleable to what they'll explore in that life skills class.
Yeah, so it just works out that it's been the mornings that they're in integrated classes. That's not necessarily how it has to be. It's just how the schedule has worked.
Mhm.
And then I actually don't have any this semester that are in both afternoon life skills classes. Um, they're in integrated classes in the afternoon as well, and it's
Okay.
just different ones. And so that's where Jackie was saying that it's very fluid and that there's moving parts, is
Right.
because yeah, that my like we have one student right now who's actually doing a co-op, and it's very unique, his co-op schedule. And so he's actually only in the school building like 2 days a week. And so
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so he's in life skills in the afternoons on those days, but sometimes he's not here. He's out on his co-op. And so yeah, it's in their schedule that they have life skills in during that class, just like any other class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No. So okay, I get it now. So when they plan out their schedule, that would kind of be incorporated part of it. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Well, let's go over to Gabriella. Could you talk about from kind of the principal perspective of Jacky mentioned that this kind of happened organically. How have you seen the program kind of flourish under the past 2.5 years?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say that it happened organically, but it's something that we were aware was a gap for a long time.
Yeah.
And so we really want to be able to offer our program to any parent who desires to educate their child in a Christian school. And our program was just not set up for that. It wasn't accessible to all students from a learning perspective. And so, when the opportunity just came about, and the opportunity came about just from our really candid conversations between teachers and other staff members about like, are we really serving students as well as we can? Is our
Yeah.
program really serving students? Because our heart is to serve students, but if there's programmatic barriers, well, then we're not really serving students. And so we just recognized that opportunity for what it was. And as Jacky mentioned, we also are working with really supportive parents. And so then we can have conversation around what should a program look like? How would that best serve this student and then students for years to come? And so since that time, more students have joined our school for this program specifically, which is amazing because otherwise they wouldn't access a Christian high school education. And so we're able, and I'll pull it back to like our tagline as well. We're able to authentically see, know, and love our students because we're offering program that is meaningful and relevant to them.
That's amazing. And I love I have to just say this, and you guys already know this, but I love that because of your school, environment, ecosystem, whatever kind of, hit word you want to use, you guys were able to see this gap, see this need, and have the wisdom and the collective agreement to be like, yeah, this is something we gotta address, and not just
Mm.
address it, but it sounds like it's actually kind of turned into a bit of a strength for you guys, which is
Yeah,
not every school could do
I
that.
think so. I think so. And so I think it helps being action oriented people, do you know? And
Yeah.
I would say like the three people you have on this screen are all pretty action oriented. And so
Cool.
we also really think if we see a problem, it's up to us to address it. And
Yeah.
so why let students languish when there's opportunity there to serve better?
Definitely. Well, I know we're coming close to I have a couple questions I want to ask you guys because I feel like you guys could talk for hours about things that are going on at London Christian High because you're very passionate about it. But let me start with this question here is for prospective students or families that are considering London Christian High, what do you say to them when they're considering it? Kind of what's your intro conversation look like?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that. Sarah, does that work for you?
Yep.
I would say, yeah. So one of the most important things that parents consider when they're considering a high school is whether their child will find a place, right? And so whether the school is a place where they will belong. And so I think that London Christian High is a really good option for parents who really want belonging for their child. And we see that when students belong, they do better. They're more successfully academically. They take more risks when it comes to like extracurricular activities and trying new things. And that's really what we want for students. And so that's what I see that parents are looking for when they're inquiring in a Christian high school, uh, and also what is meaningful for them about London Christian High. I also think that what parents recognize right now is that we are expanding our program to serve student needs in new and dynamic ways. And so, for those parents who are desiring a Christian high school education, they're also being well served because we're seeing opportunity in lots of our program and no longer kind of holding some barriers that we used to hold before. So like we're expanding into the areas of technology, we're expanding into the areas of co-op programs, meaningful, purposeful learning for our students, and that's what parents are looking for.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Yes, Sarah, Jackie, anything to add about what you would kind of have in that intro conversation?
Back to students being seen, known, and loved. Like we take
Yeah,
that seriously. We
love that
know all our
language. Love it.
names.
Mm-hmm.
Students don't necessarily always like being seen, known, and loved. It's not always the state they would like to find, but
Good line.
we also see that. And yeah, the seen, known, and loved. I think that is one of the key differences that London Christian High offers compared to other high schools in the area, for sure.
Very cool. Yeah, and Sarah, anything to add?
I think we do things in unique ways. And so we've talked about the life skills program, but in all of our classes, we have days that are dedicated to going out into the community as a whole class. And so it goes beyond field trips, and it's actually like we really encourage to use those as like service days. And so
Mm,
tying it somehow into a course, but also being out, being a part of our community, not just being in it. And I think those types of learning experiences are sometimes those are like the deciding factors for parents, right? That it's not just about education. It's like it's how do we make um, good but also godly members of society.
mm. Very, very cool. Oh, we'll get into our just final question here. I'm always curious to know. The reason we're doing this whole series is God is doing something really cool in Christian education across Canada. Could you guys speak to? I know Ontario is a big place, and there's a lot of fantastic Christian schools in Ontario. But could you speak to kind of the state of Christian education in Ontario and what you're seeing even in your community of London, Ontario?
Yeah, I can take that one.
Yeah.
I think what we are seeing, what we're seeing at our school is, and in our area is a lot of opportunity for Christian education. And so, like London Christian High is a trusted educator. Like parents trust us to educate their children well in Christian education. And so I see that that trust is just bringing new opportunities our way. And so some of the growth that we have seen post COVID is really remarkable. And so we're getting an opportunity to work with students who have never experienced Christian education before, who may not be Christians themselves, but every day we get to tell them about how much God loves them. Like that's incredible that we get to do that. And some of that interest in London Christian High allows us to just expand different areas that we haven't been able to before. And so Sarah was talking before about focus days and just the opportunity to go out and to be of service and learn some things in our community. We offer lots of different program options like that. So, focus days is one thing. Jacky mentioned we also do community partnerships. So, we're partnering with different businesses and social service organizations to help them in their mission make a meaningful difference in the world, and our students get to participate in that. Like that's really really incredible. And we've been expanding our program for co-op as well. So many more students are doing co-op here, experiencing trades, and then also developing into things like Ontario apprenticeship program and our career and technical education program. So we just have in the past 4 years, I would say, we just can see the opportunity. And so we're just doing what we can to create meaningful and relevant learning opportunities for all of our students. So it's a really exciting time here.
That's awesome. Oh, very, very cool. Well, I will say London Christian High, fantastic high school. Redeemer and London Christian High have been, we've been collaborating for many years now, and thank you to all of you for coming on this episode of the podcast and representing your school well. And if you're watching this, to any of our viewers or listeners, I'll leave a link to your website in the description below. So if you want to get in contact with them and carry on the conversation beyond that. But ladies, thank you so much for coming on this episode of the Redeemer Podcast.
Thank you, Zach.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. And to all of you, God bless, and we will see you in the next episode.